In today's video, I'm going to talk about this World War II General Patton tank model that was put out by the Aurora company, and I'll talk a little bit about Aurora and talk a little bit about selling models and yeah. So this I am selling on consignment for a friend, and he has a lot of models. He was a 60s kid, and he has a lot of models from the 1960s that he made and saved. And the interesting thing about the model kits is a lot of times when you do find them, the boxes are all crushed up. They're not a lot of the models didn't come in very sturdy boxes, and a lot of times the boxes did not last. This box is in fairly decent condition. Um, it was kit number 121. It was 1/48 scale, and this issue was made in 1969. And the interesting thing about this, I'm just showing you the rest of the top of the box, so it's in really in decent shape. The Aurora company, these are made in USA, and the Aurora company originally was out of Brooklyn, New York. They were in business from 1950 to 1980 when it had been bought out in that period of time, but then it was defunct totally in 1980. And what was nice is my friend also saved the instructions, which a lot of times you don't have. Or sometimes what I found is when you find a model, you'll have the wrong instructions inside the models. So that some of them, if they're old and desirable, that you could sell the instructions on their own. But what's nice is this one has the instructions, and it's not written on, and it's a little wrinkled and a little yellowed, but it's really in decent shape. And you can see just also what pieces you were supposed to have with it, because even if there's pieces that don't look like it goes to something, I usually just will put it in the baggie if I found it with it, especially if I can't identify them, so that the person that you're selling it to, they can do what they want with it. But I'd rather have too many than throw out something vital that I missed. Models were very popular hobby among kids in the 60s and 70s, and I was never into them. But people who will know exactly what they're looking for when it's time. So here's the model, and over here we have, what was nice is you have the label is still on the base, and you have the tank, and the little doors that go on the tank are over here in this pile, and some of the guys that are climbing out of the tank, the observer is going to be right, they'll show you where they come out of the tank. And then over here you can just take it off the base, so you get a good view, and his base is in nice condition. It's a very thin plastic. When I ship these, they're all going to be bubble wrapped separately, and also this whole little things, they'll go in their own baggie. And the drag here is, you can see that one of the treads has broken on the bottom, but again, this is a fairly common problem. It's not in bad shape at all, but it's a fairly common problem when the rubbers dry out and will crack as the time passes. So the models are something I always keep an eye out for, and a lot of times I don't find them. And when I do find them, sometimes they're very pricey, and they're, or the box, it's really damaged. Those are two very common things when I find them. You look up completed, see how they do, and the different kind of models that there were different brands of models, of course. Um, but in the 60s, they had a lot of Aurora had started with a lot of the slot cars that were the 132 size. They also had figures like knights and buildings and animals. And out in 1961, they got the licensing for the Universal monsters from the Universal Studios. So those monsters, everybody seems to love monsters. And so those monsters are very desirable. And they had Frankenstein was the first one, and then they had 12 other monsters that were issued and reissued through through the 60s through the early 70s, and those would be like King Kong and Godzilla. And my friend claims he has those, and I'm sure he does. I just haven't gotten them yet, because when I do, I look forward to making some videos on the monster series. Also, the other thing that Aurora did in the 60s, which was smart, was they got model TV tie-in models. So they would have models for like Lost in Space, Star Trek, Land of the Giants, the Batmobile, TV shows that everybody liked. And so when you go to sell them, you've got the model people that might want them, but you also have the people that collect that TV show, which makes them desirable. And they're just a really fun blast from the past. And there are people today, there is certainly a lot of model people out there today, but they're just also something to keep your eye out for, because they do just fine on the resale market. If you've enjoyed this video, hit the like and subscribe button, and I look forward to having you pop in again and see what I have next time around. Have a good day.